Hello, it's Kim Murden here. Today, I'm just going to give a little chat about what a herbal consultation involves, because I realise that those of you who maybe haven't met me yet or haven't met someone who's seen a herbalist haven't got a clue what goes on in a consultation. So I just want to reassure you, it's not the dark arts at all. It's a very safe and sound. Um, Therapeutic space. So this, which you can see around me, is my consultation space. All the herbs are sitting behind me, and when we get to the end of the consultation, that's where I go and mix up the medicine for you. So first of all, just to say, we are still navigating our way through the world of coronavirus and what to do. What our government's going to do about the procedures around lockdown. Well, obviously, I work from home and I work in a clinic setting, so I can absolutely see people one-to-one safely in my clinic space. We can keep a good social distance from each other, and I can attend to all the hygiene measures. I also reiterate I do telephone and video consultations. I'd just like to say, though, something very important about seeing or meeting each other one on one. You get a real good understanding of how you feel comfortable and trust the practitioner, and as the practitioner I get a good round picture as well of picking up on things about you. We're social animals as human beings, and there's a lot of important information. And of course, if there's something that we need to kind of look at, you've got, I don't know, really bad skin condition on your feet, we can look at that more closely. But before we get into that detail, let's also just start from the beginning. So when you come in to my space, I do all the usual normal things, like take your name and address, and then I get you to, in your own words, explain to you what's brought you along, what you're hoping the herbs are going to help with. So we go, it might be one thing that's really troubling you, or you might have a list. People come in with a list of things. That's fine. And I'll ask you various questions about, when things feel better and worse, and when did these conditions start, and was there anything else going on? So we get a good round picture of that. And then I'll ask you questions about your drug history, whether you're on any prescribed medications, because it's vitally important I know that what you're on, that if I'm dispensing any herbs, that I don't give you anything that's contraindicated between the herbs and the orthodox medications. And also whether you take any supplements and other things that you might be taking. Again, just attending to the detail and the care around that. And then we'll look at your past medical history. So it could be things, accidents, operations, childhood conditions. So, there we're looking at, you might be someone who had constant sore throats as a child, or, you might have had a huge bout of asthma, but you don't have it now. So those are the kind of things we're looking at. And then I'll go through what we call your, from the conventional medical point of view, your body systems, so your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, and I ask, your digestive system, and I'll be asking you questions. And from that, I get a really good all-round picture of how your body is functioning, working, and things that are. And let me just reassure you, there is sort of no normal human being. We all are quite unique in what we're doing, but what one's doing as a practitioner may be, to give you a very simplistic example, it might be, you're someone, you might be coming about migraines, but then you might tell me that, you've always got cold hands and feet. Now that gives me a really important bit of information about your how your circulation is working, and there's like herbs in that will help all that process. So anyway, we get a whole picture of that, and I look very much also at detail at diet, and I usually just get people to explain a typical day's food consumption. We always give a bit of leeway. We always kind of lie a bit about whether we've had a bit less chocolate or a bit less coffee or a bit less alcohol than we usually consume. But what I'm saying there, it's not a judgmental space at all. It's just an information space where you can just be honest with how it is, because it's quite a precious thing, because one of the things I do give you is time. My consultations are an hour, including the dispensing, and it's in my book, and the studies are all there. I was reading something the other day about a GP who was looking at the difference between, family GPs who get to know people over lots of consultations, um, versus, and often the complaint I get today from patients is they never see the same GP. It's always someone different. And I'm maybe a bit old school, or maybe I'm just a solid human being. I think relationship is important, and that understanding. And the more I work with someone, and the more they, we that interaction, we know each other. Um, finer details come through, and important things get picked up on through that. So I honor that. So I give people space. I give people time, and I very much sit alongside my patients. I like to make people um, feel relaxed and confident in what they're sharing, and also really important that I can give you the information, put it in detail. So it might be something quite straightforward. You're not quite understanding how your gut's working and why you keep getting indigestion. So I've got time to go talk you through that, and why I'm giving you certain dietary advice around that, and why I'm giving you those certain herbs. Or we might look at some more what we could say, lifestyle issues, or things that attend to the heart and soul of the matter. At times things get discussed, that give you space to attend to things that are troubling you. And I'm very much of the school of thought that, if we don't have our well-being and we don't have our health, then it makes life quite challenging. So the next question you're probably going to ask is, well, what kind of things do you treat? And I can be a bit flippant sometimes, and when people ask me that, I go, well, if you've got a human body and there's something going on, I'll attend to that. What I'm really saying there is that it's not. I think we've got rather fixated on labels, and labels. You're not a label. You're a whole being. So that's what I'm saying when I come out with something like that. So I'm not really that terrifying. Um, and to say that from my training, I'm trained as a Western medical herbalist, so I do have training in medical systems and differential diagnosis. So there's anything that I'm ever concerned about that's coming up, I will always refer you, back to your GP if there's what we call red flags of things going on. I mean, in this day and age, most people have already either kind of been to Dr. Google and made their own ideas up of what's going on for them, or they have been to their GP as well. In terms of what kind of people come to me, well, seriously, it is all sorts, from the very young. It might be a baby who's having trouble with colic. It might be a young child who's got issues with bad sleep patterns or bedwetting. Right through, all the things of the teenage years, spots, menstrual problems, anxiety problems, all those things that spill out throughout our whole our lifespan, isn't it? Things like headaches and migraines, digestive things. So it's the whole gamut, really. And I'm always very honest. If it's something that we're not getting anywhere, I'll be honest about that, and as well. But so it can be autoimmune things, it's like things like rheumatoid arthritis, asthma. We can get very symptomatic, acute symptomatic things like seasonal hay fever. So the whole caboodle really is what I'm saying, and important to know. Herbalists can give you time to explore those issues. And I think we really need to move away from although there's things in modern medicine which are wonderful and there's really brilliant for the frontline services, I'm forever aware that it's the things that need attention, that take time and relationship, and just time treating them, not just thinking you can take a pill and it's gone. You symptomatically suppress the symptom. It's actually what I work with, is trying to get the body always back into its optimum harmony. It's not to say that I can wave a magic wand. There's things that we get and we have to live with them, but we want to be able to live with conditions to the utmost of our well-being. So I sit very much alongside my patients and work in that style with you. And to then say how, people say, well, how long does you have to take herbal medicine? It really varies. So, I've just been seeing someone this week who I suspect they might only need one course of herbal medicine, one or two. They've got, an acute gut thing going on, and then that will settle down. Other people have got conditions that are lifelong. So, they might come and see me on an ongoing basis, and then I can do repeat prescriptions as well once they feel they're comfortable with the herbs that that they're on, and maybe they've finished sort of got the support they need. And then if things change, things get better or worse, or something else comes along, they'll come back and we'll adjust the medicine. And that's an important thing to know about Western herbal medicine. So these herbs, when I dispense them, I'm making up a unique mix for you. And then so as things improve or change or shift, we can adjust the mix to attend to that. So that's hope gives you a brief overview of what happens in a consultation. It's always a privilege in my book to sit and work with people. People always really interest me, and I like to take care and time, and really help you look after your health. And I'm always delighted, even though I've been practicing for 20 years, it may seem a strange thing to say to you, but I'm always delighted with what the herbs do. I know it all in my head and I work with them, but it is always a delight to see the well-being that they can bring. So I hope you found that of interest. If you want to book an appointment, you can send me a message. You can offer via my website. I've got a Facebook page, and often, my Facebook page, I've put a lot of pictures up about local herbs and things like that as well, which might interest you as well. So thanks for listening. I'll put the details at the end of how to contact me, and take the very best care of yourself and those around you. Bye bye.